Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about the Rokinon Fisheye 7.5mm lens mounted on the Olympus OMD EM-5. So this also goes by the brand of Samyang and Bower, I think. So because the focal length is so short, the lens pops out and you can't put a filter on it. And the lens cap is a clip type lens cap that kind of clips onto these two hood branches. So this hood is integrated into the lens to protect the lens. And also, as you can see here, it's a very small lens. Right? It is a manual focus lens, so it doesn't need room for motors or anything. Mounted on the OMD EM-5, it looks very natural. It's a very small lens. It's very easy to carry around when you're traveling. So in terms of weight and build quality, it's very solid. It feels substantial. It's, I think, mostly metal. Everything except the rings, I think, is metal, and the mount is metal as well. So the build quality is very good, and everything clicks very accurately. So the focus ring also turns very smoothly. It's not the easiest ring to turn, but it's very smooth. So build quality, I would rate this lens as a very high quality lens. Now in terms of the focal length, so this is 7.5mm on a micro four thirds, so that is equivalent to 15mm on a full frame. So this will give you a very wide view. So even in a small room, this lens will allow you to see the entire room. And if you're outside, it basically grabs most of the landscape. It's about 180 degrees field of view, so as you can imagine, it really sees everything. And even when you have your hand here, like holding the lens, your finger will be in the picture, so you have to be careful not to have your finger, your feet inside the picture. So it's that wide. Now, the aperture, the maximum is 3.5, so it's not a really large aperture kind of lens, but that's okay because for the scenarios I use it in, which is mostly landscape or travel, I don't need such a large aperture. So the other thing is manual focus. So you might think that's kind of a hassle and might be problematic, but really because the focal length is so short, almost everything is in focus. So it's very easy. I've taken maybe 1,000 pictures with this, and all I do is I set it to f5.6 or smaller aperture, maybe 8, so like 5.6, and then I move the focus marker to just before infinity. So at this setting, everything from maybe a foot in front of you to infinity is in focus. So you really just press the shutter and take a picture. There's zero focus delay, and then everything is in focus. So this is very easy to use. You really forget that this is a manual focus lens. And the other benefit of being 7.5mm is you can use very slow shutter speeds. So camera shake is almost not a factor with this lens, especially with the in-body image stabilization of the OMD EM-5. One thing I should note is that if you are getting this lens, you need to change a setting, which is the image stabilization setting. So when you have this attached, go to IS and then press Info. When you do that, you have to make it 8mm. If you don't, when you have pressed the shutter, the image will start to shake because it thinks that this manual focus lens is having a focal length of 50mm. So for some reason it becomes incompatible with the stabilization. So this is just one small thing to note. So I've taken many pictures with this lens, and the image quality of this lens is excellent. It's sharp in the center and it's sharp at the corners, and there's almost no fringing that I see, so also very little chromatic aberration. So it's a very high image quality lens, and you kind of don't expect that because this lens only costs $300 new US, so it's a very high value lens. You get a lot of bang for your buck. So I thought because it's a fisheye, it's kind of a specialty lens, I won't use it as much, but in fact sometimes I just don't want to take it off because it's so fun to use and you get everything you see into the picture So when you're traveling, that's very nice. And when you're indoors, even trying to take some indoor shots, it gets everything into view. And even when you have people in the picture, as long as they're somewhat close to the center, they don't look that distorted. So it's perfectly usable. So yeah, it's a great lens. I think every Micro Four Thirds user should own one because it's so cheap and it's such high quality. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this review of the lens, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.